change. They want me to change, but I ain't changing. Nah, I remain.
My apologies, I wasn't paying attention. But I did the intro and everything. Anyway, I think I would be remiss if I did not give my 2 cents on Jimmy Kimmel. I can't say that I was a fan of the show. Not the biggest fan of his. I'm just indifferent on the guy. But the suppression of thought is a prerequisite to a morphing into a completely different type of country. And I have not given this country in any ceremonial handshakes or applaud on the greatness of how it is. But comparatively speaking, it could be worse. It's getting there. At what point are you okay with your voice being silenced because someone doesn't want to hear it? They always take the worst case scenario in every situation, in every law, when they are really trying to change shit. They take the worst case scenario to set a precedent. And that worst case scenario, once they get it on the books, it's very difficult to get off the books. And so now what was once an anomaly, we only did it because it was X, Y, and Z. Now it's an everyday occurrence. The erosion of I see white dudes getting suspended, fired. White dudes. I've never seen that shit in my life, to be quite honest. For critiquing other white dudes. White people should be suspicious of that. Even the most ardent conservative is supposed to stand for the Constitution. I don't have to believe what you believe as far as how society should go, or how we should deal with the homeless, or this, that, and the third. But you're the constitutional kingpin. Spend your bread and butter forever. Economics, guns, and the Constitution. If they can take away your thoughts, they'll take away your gun. You don't see that. And you're complicit. Anyway, I don't want to get too high on the high horse because I'm awaiting Roxy to come on the show. And let me see. If not, I got shit to say. I really do. And I typically am not the most vocal when it comes to politics and shit like that, because generally I just don't care enough. But what's occurring in this country is, it would be different if I didn't have any kids and I didn't have any grandkids, and I knew that my lineage stopped with me. I would have the ability to be selfish beyond selfish and just not give a fuck about any of y'all. But I don't. I owe it to my grandkids or my great grandkids to fucking say something. Like when you see those old ass black and white pictures of the 60s and the black kids just trying to go to school with the white kids, and you see the venom in the white people, those white people grew up. There's somebody somewhere that's like, that was my grandmother. On the wrong side of history. At some point, people are going to look back at this time in this country and ask why you didn't do shit. It just is. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all, man. This shit is, and you don't want to say too much because I can't afford to lose my job. I really can't. Nobody's gonna take care of me. I'm absolutely a nobody in the grand scheme. I'm nobody in the small scheme of things. If I want to keep it a buck. So we've all been threatened into capitulating without being threatened. Because if they'll take Jimmy Kimmel off immediately, what do you think you're going to do to you? You work at Walmart. That is the problem with this type of shit, But and when you look at a significant shift in the ideology of every country before this one and since this one was started, if there are any that started, whatever. When they shifted, it shifted for a long time. I don't want this to happen to my people. I'm 53. If God is great to me, I got another 40 years. And that's being optimistic. I don't know how many generations will occur as a result of what I've created or what I helped create. But I do know I want each and every one of them to be able to look back and say he gave a fuck. I never, I've never been Mr. Super Patriotic. I've never seen the need. And I never felt like this country gave my community more than it took. And it was never close. But my community is affected by this shit. And I don't know who's going to come along and be this generation's, Malcolm X, if you will, or Dr. King, just the next Farrakhan. But I know, man, we can't let this shit stop us. I'm not saying act a fool and saying do X. I'm not saying any of that shit. I just know we gotta say something at the very least. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Roxy. I know, we did communicate earlier today. Let's see this. Let me. Okay, yeah. I did send that. Okay, all right. Yo, what I've also been doing too, man, lately is I've really been putting out a lot more content. And for whatever reason, like some of the content that I've been putting out has really been kind of catching on TikTok. So if you have not checked out the TikTok, it is Intellectually Petty Radio. We've got a couple that like over the last month, maybe 2 months, the TikTok has really seen some nice little growth. We definitely have tripled the followers. It's been pretty dope. What I also want to do is I would like to have a show where I talk to the women and the women talk to me. Like I would like to know what's going on in the mind of women in 2025. More specifically, I already know sisters, but the struggles are they different, more challenging than what they saw from their mothers? The successes that women have had. Just whatever comes to mind. I just want to have a really dope conversation with a few sisters. So if you know anybody that would be interested, please make sure you check out Intellectually Petty Radio on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, wherever, and drop me a note and let me know, yeah, you'd like to come on. I haven't like set a date for it. I would like to get some participants to agree before we do that. But I used to do it, some years ago. I stopped, and some of the ideas that we had back then were really good ideas. We just didn't stick to them. And so I'd like to be a little bit more intentional in some of the shows that I do going forward. I love good conversations. I love the interviews, but I would like also to have like topic based interviews. I used to do that back in the day too, and it was interesting. I don't know, like there was one on sexual assault. I think I've talked about that one before. We brought back Black Business Buzz, so we do that once a month. We celebrate some Black-owned businesses in wherever your brand, your product, your service, whatever you offer. You get a chance to come on for 15 minutes and kind of pitch whatever you want to pitch. We don't charge you anything. It's just something we feel like we need to do to put us in a better position. Everybody got a lane. Everybody got a position. It's all about understanding your position and being okay with your position. And I am completely fine with this right here. So, let me, because I'm about 15 minutes in, and y'all know, oh, excuse me. Yo, who was that? Tony, I think it was Tony Baker. I was watching earlier today, just a clip of his on IG, and I'm like, he does his podcast by himself, and how the fuck you can talk for that long is crazy work. Yeah, I know I can't multitask. I'm sorry, I'm texting. But I'm curious. I would be interested to have. I don't know, because some of these people, man, like a conservative, that's not going go all ballistic and shit. That could actually have a conversation. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just the shit that you see, the sound bites or whatnot, is never a pleasant conversation. And that, like, if you look at the history of this country, politically speaking, like the politics nowadays, like the campaigns are tame compared to like the 1800s and shit like that. Very tame. But it's getting back to the ugly, and not only the ugly, it's like you're seeing it play out from the Oval Office. That's different. The revenge is scary. You got some people who say it should be scary, it should be this way. Check the beginning of the video. What are you gonna do when someone of the opposite ideology is conducting themselves in the same fashion that you did? So, on that note, I'm not sure what's going on. I do apologize that Roxy, life happens. So I never, oops, sorry. That was Instagram. Anyway, again, I do apologize. And I'm not gonna sit. I'm not that guy. I'm just not gonna sit up here and talk a lot. To be quite honest, I'm out of here. I see y'all at 7:00. We got a soccer to renegade. That's my guy too. So Anyway, on that note, appreciate y'all for the 15 minutes. This be an interesting clip though. I'm out.